D23 2022 is right around the corner, and I am super excited to hear all of the parks news that Disney has in store for us. I do not know exactly what will happen. I want to preface this whole video by saying no one really does except for some of the executives at Disney. However, I think today is a fantastic day to go over some of those ideas that I've heard from others, that I've thought for myself, that I'm thinking Disney may announce for D23 2022 at the Parks panel. Now, for those who aren't familiar, Disney has a very special event that happens technically every year, but it's every 2 years in the United States. And when it happens in California, D23, they have a very big event where they talk about future movies and different Imagineering stories, all sorts of great information all about Disney. It's Disney's big fan club. However, there is one panel that interests a lot of us a lot more than any other panel, and that's the Parks panel. It happens every single time they have D23 in California. And when they're there, they talk about all the future ideas they have for Walt Disney World, Disneyland, and all the Disney parks all around the globe. At D23 2022, I have no doubt we're going to hear all about Disneyland updates and Shanghai, Hong Kong, so many other great updates. But today I'm focusing solely on the Walt Disney World park updates and the predictions that I have for this very special event. Now, this is an early predictions video. We're probably going to do one more as we get really close to D23 2022, which is in September of 2022. But let's go over some of the theories, the thoughts, the rumors that could be announced at this very special event. Starting off with some of the very basic stuff, Disney's going to talk about some of the things that have just opened or just about to open. So we're going to hear more about Tron, which should be open either at that point or shortly thereafter. We'll hear about how successful Guardians is. We'll talk about the train coming back, all those great things. But what else is going to be new? One of the rumors that has been swirling for years is an addition to Animal Kingdom. And it may not be an addition like we originally thought. It may be kind of a modification of an existing land. But I have two very specific and different ideas for Animal Kingdom. The first you may have heard of before is the update to Dino Land. Dino Land becoming something else entirely, whether it be Indiana Jones or something with Zootopia and maybe having that kind of behind where Africa is, rather than Dino Land, having Zootopia and Animal Kingdom somewhere, or Indiana Jones, or some other big change to Animal Kingdom to make it a super big draw, like all the other parks are too, and Animal Kingdom is a big draw, but even bigger than it currently is. Now, we already know from D23 in the past that Zootopia Land is being built at Shanghai Disneyland, so we already know that it's happening over there. For us to get a version of Zootopia Land would mesh perfectly with Disney's plans of the past, because they love to take an idea that does really well somewhere and then copy paste in a different park, right? They've done it so many times. Tron's a great example. However, this being said, they do like to come up with new ideas. Mission Breakout is a good example instead of Tower of Terror, and then Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. Those are very specific attractions that aren't seen anywhere else yet. Now, instead of Zootopia Land, what else could happen at Animal Kingdom and possibly be announced at D23 2022? I think another possibility, and it has been rumored and some ideas have floated around, the expansion of Pandora. Pandora World of Avatar is an overwhelming success. I remember being there opening day, had a tremendous time, loved it, and still love it to this day. The attractions have held up, and so has the land. It's amazing. But the idea of an expansion to the land has been floating around since the land originally opened, simply because there are so many movies, not only kind of as ideas, but some are actually in the works for the future, and how Disney could take this idea of the future Avatar movies and expand it into the parks. Now, I still think this is a possibility, but I think it's more likely we'll see Indiana Jones or Zootopia. But I have heard this enough to think that it's a possibility for the future. It also could be that we won't see it this year. We'll see it at 2024 D23. Moving on now to the Magic Kingdom, and Tiana is going to be taking the place of Brer Rabbit, Brer Fox, and Brer Bear. Let's try saying that 3 times fast. When they're there, they're going to be singing all of our favorite songs, and the total redo of Splash Mountain will more than likely be part of D23 2022. That being said, I think Disney's going to surprise us with even more updates. You may remember from a video I did not so long ago, I talked about the area kind of near Splash Mountain, not Big Thunder, right? Think the other side, where they could possibly update it to kind of go along with the story that they have, where Tiana will be, where I'm just going to call it Splash Mountain. We don't know what the new ride's going to be, but just for reference, where Tiana will take the place of Splash Mountain. Where Splash Mountain is, kind of that whole area could change to more of a Tiana theme, like New Orleans Square, at Disneyland. I think it's a possibility that Disney gives us more information about that, possibly not at all. Maybe it's just going to be a surprise. Golden Oak Outpost could still remain there even after Tiana's opens, but we'll see. I would imagine, though, Disney's going to take the time to change a couple more things besides just one attraction. One of my favorite rides at Hollywood Studios is Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith. And I know as soon as I said it, some of you are saying to yourselves, don't say it, Michael. Please don't say it. But the rumor has been circling for a while, so I've got to talk about it. I hope this one does not come true. I'm going to say that right now. But the idea of a change from Aerosmith to Monsters, Inc. or some other kind of story is a possibility. I truly hope this is not true. I truly hope this does not happen. But I think it's a strong possibility. I think it's something that we've heard about long enough where Disney could pull the button on this. That being said, Rock and Roller Coaster does get quite a bit of traffic, right? People love it. I hope Disney does not change this and maybe pushes those plans for the distant future. Let's hope that that has happened. Now, there's no doubt that at Epcot, we're going to hear more about the Moana Journey of Water. And by the time D23 happens, it will either just have opened or be opening a couple weeks or months later. So it'll be just about done at the time D23 happens. I'll probably talk about it, maybe do some special photos talking about how it's going to be open at this date and this time. They're going to announce certain dates and times as well, no doubt. But we'll hear more about it and some of the special experiences that you can have when you're there. In addition, they'll talk about the updates to Epcot. I haven't really talked about this much on the channel. I did see some of the images from the kind of Epcot, the future of Epcot idea. Not my favorite look to Epcot personally. We'll see what happens, but they'll no doubt talk about this one as well. Now, Stitch's Great Escape at the Magic Kingdom has been closed for some time. We've had this for a while, and we're ready for something new. And although all signage has been removed, there's also been no evidence as far as the outside of any construction coming to the inside of that building. That being said, D23 would be the perfect time to announce the replacement for Stitch's Great Escape and formerly Alien Encounter. I think that it's possible that we are going to see an update to that one, but I wouldn't hold your breath for it. I don't think that Disney's in any rush to fill a space that's not really blocking anything, but also they can take their time to fill. So eventually we'll see an update to it. One of the big updates that part of me is hoping for it, another part of me really isn't, just depending on how they do it, is the update to the Journey into the Imagination with Figment. Now, I know some are going to say, don't do it, don't do it. Others are going to say, please let it be done. I hope that if they do make a change to Journey into the Imagination with Figment, it is a change back to the Dreamfinder, back to the imagination, back to human ability to create magical ideas from their mind, right? That's what the Journey into the Imagination should be, and I feel like it is overdue for an update. I did hear a rumor not too long ago about Inside Out kind of working with Figment to kind of experience what it's like to be a human in imagination. I think that's a great idea too, as long as they keep Figment, and he's the star, he's got to be the star. I think that it's a true possibility. They could make that one work for sure. All the IPs that they're trying to push into Epcot, okay, I get it. They're just going to keep on doing that, despite the fact that some of us like it, some of us don't. That, to me, is an idea that could totally work. Now, in addition, at Animal Kingdom, we are kind of lacking a nighttime experience at that very large amphitheater outside. The original show didn't really do what Disney wanted it to do, and then they tried to update it, and it was even worse. And then now they have the kites that fly around, which are cool, but you see them once or twice, and that's about it. They need to have a really grabbing nighttime show at Animal Kingdom, and the catch is they can't have fireworks or large amounts of fire, because it would disturb the animals. We can't be doing that. So finding that way, I know, is something that Disney can totally do, but I think it's a possibility that we'll learn more about Animal Kingdom, and it's going to take a big part of the D23 Parks panel, Animal Kingdom, and changes to it in the future. Now, at the Parks panel, more often than not, they talk about the cruise line as well, so don't be surprised if you hear more about the Disney Wish and how everybody loves it, and they're coming out with more Triton-class ships. We may also learn more about the future ship that follows, right? There's supposed to be 2 other ships. We should hear more about those 2 other ships and whether or not they're actually going to be coming out on the original release dates, right? That could change because other things have changed, so maybe they're not coming on the exact days that they originally planned, because remember, they had to push back the Wish by a little bit, so maybe we'll see these ships at later years, but as long as we get an update on when they're coming, I think everybody's going to be happy. Now, it's my hope, and I don't believe this is going to happen at D23 2022, Disney will announce more information about the annual pass system. for Walt Disney World. They have, at this moment, stopped selling annual passes at anything higher than the Pixie Dust Pass. That being said, when it's time to update, you can change your pass and all that, so it does work, but it's made things a little bit more difficult for those who want to be an annual pass holder at Walt Disney World. So it's my hope that they do announce more about this in the future for Walt Disney World, but I doubt they will at D23. Now, there is no doubt that Disney will surprise us with something that we could have never even imagined at this point once we get to D23 2022, and I'm looking forward to sharing in it with you live. I'm going to be live streaming it if at all possible and sharing in that moment with you. I love doing it. It's so much fun. We get to learn about all the updates together, new restaurants, possibly new resorts, and we'll learn about the Polynesian Village Resort, but it's not going to be a big update. Things like that we will hear along the way. It's going to be fantastic. A special thanks to our patrons for making all of our videos possible, and thanks to you for watching. Until next time, have a magical day, and see you real soon.